Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk About Love. And for those of you who do not know, I'm Anshin Kelly, and this is a series called that I've been recording called Let's Talk About Love. And we are going to pick up from where we left off, and which is I just finished talking about the ego, the nature of the ego, the selfish self within the human being, and described in these four fallen natures, taken from a spiritual scripture called the Divine Principle. So, thank you so much for watching, and let us begin. Right now, I'm going to talk about the disharmony or the disunity that has happened through the four fallen natures or the ego, and also begin to talk about the work of unifying basically the physical and the spiritual and the mind and body within the human being, and what that represents in the universe in a profound and deep way. So originally, within the human being, we are a microcosm of the universe, and through the unity of the mind and body. And when I say mind, I want to clarify this. In the East, when they say mind, many times you'll see an Eastern person, Asian person, when they say mind, they will point to their chest or their heart. And this is because in the East, the mind is more the universal mind. It's actually throughout the body. The mind is within each cell of the human body. Not in the East, we talk about just the intellectual mind, and we point to our heads. But when I talk about mind, I talk about the universal mind that makes up the cells in our body. It makes up the cells in the universe, and the carbon in the universe. So this is the universal mind, or the mind behind even the intellectual mind, where the thoughts eventually manifest. So originally, the human being's mind and body were to become one, centered on unconditional love, centered on the love of the universe, centered on the love of God, and again, we're using God in a very untraditional sense, and this is not speaking of God in a dogmatic or fearful or forceful way. We're talking about a God as unconditional love, as the force and depth behind and within all life. So, and because of the four fallen natures, because of this ego, this selfishness, this disharmony has happened, has not allowed the mind and body to become one. And therefore, this is now a very profound and grand statement that because humanity has not been able to unite the mind and body, therefore the spiritual and the physical, the spiritual world and the physical world has not been able to unite outwardly in the universe. So as microcosms, as gods and goddesses, manifesting this unconditional love of God in the universe, we were to actually unify and manifest, unify the spiritual and physical worlds, and manifest this love and oneness in the world. So, because of this disharmony, so I shouldn't begin like that. Throughout history, humanity has been able to see, or in some cases, has been able to see this disharmony and this disruption that has happened, and have developed along the way ways so that we may strive to overcome this selfishness, overcome this selfish mind, in order to come back home, come back to our our proper and rightful place as kings and queens of the universe, as gods and goddesses of the universe. So, and in these ways that people have developed through their hints, their glimpses or hints of a divine realm or a spiritual realm or a divine self, has manifested into religions, into spiritual practices. And yes, humanity has also misused these spiritual practices, have externalized these spiritual practices, and a lot of blood has been shed over these beliefs. So we want to get back to their essential role, to get back to their founders and what their founders discovered and related to in the heavenly realm, in what they discovered in terms of unconditional love and oneness in the universe. So within our lives, throughout our lives, most of us are unconscious of even the fact that there is disharmony. We can see that there's disharmony in the world. We can see that there's trouble in the world. But within ourselves, we are unconscious of the fact that our minds are actually, very disunited, very from our body. More often than not, A Course in Miracles, which is a spiritual writing, says that we are way too tolerant of a wandering mind, of a mind that is not disciplined, of an undisciplined mind. And another spiritual work called the Chonhwa Dang talks about how we ride thought trains throughout the day, don't even notice, and so our bodies may be here, but our minds are elsewhere, along thought trains that are not centered on a harmonious space, more often than not centered on the selfish self or selfish desires. So this is not mea culpa. This is not woe is me or I hate myself. In fact, those things are actually all come from the ego as well, from the selfish self. Hating oneself or disliking oneself is actually self-centered. It comes out of the ego. There's no space within unconditional love in the universe that says that we must hate ourselves, that we must condemn ourselves. Because when we do, there is no hope, there is no solution. So our goal is to strive for this unity again, to strive to connect, to plug in, to liberate the original mind, liberate that original self, divine self, from the ego, from the chains of the selfish self, and begin to recognize through soliciting from the universe our lessons, our realizations, and opening ourselves up to who we really are. So this is our work, and I hope that you follow me some more, and we'll keep talking in the next video. Thank you very much.